I'm Ryan Thompson, Assistant AD for Communications here at Davenport University. Today we're talking 2018 football season with head coach Sparky McEwen and junior cornerback Brian Williams. And we'll start with you, Coach. We look at this season, and you guys went through the GLIAC last year. What are some of the lessons you learned from that first year?
You know, the first thing we talked about was maturity and just growing as a team because, you know, we're pretty young in the GLIAC, obviously, and the roster that was built from day one here was a roster that was not conducive to, you know, GLIAC play. So, you know, there was definitely a growth spurt there for our guys and getting to know their coaches and the coaches getting to know the players and the players getting to know each other because we had a host of transfers that came in. So, you know, growth is the word that we've used for this offseason.
You know, taking a look at depth, that's one thing you addressed last year after post-game news conferences. How have you been able to get some more depth on this year's squad?
Well, you know, it's similar to last year in January when we came on board. You know, we wanted to get some transfers that would come here and bridge the gap between some of our younger guys and some of the vets that we currently have on the roster that was here from year one. So getting those guys in here has been significant, and then also picking up some more transfer-type students this past offseason here in the summer.
You know, take a look at your schedule. You guys open up on the road at Robert Morris, and then you have Wisconsin Oshkosh here in your home opener. But talk about those opponents if you can, and also running through the GLIAC again in year two.
Well, Robert Morris, you know, that's the first and only opponent that we've communicated about. Obviously, I've been the one to go and sign the other two ball clubs, but we have focused so much on ourselves, you know, and not so much the opponents. But Robert Morris, this is a program that, you know, we feel it's an NAIA program that they're extremely tough. To go on the road week one is going to be a tall order for us, but I think it's something that our players will look forward to. But they know going into that ball game because Robert Morris is going to play a game a week before us, you know, so that'll be our first game, it'll be their second game. So it's going to be extremely tough on our young men, but I think they'll be up for the challenge.
You know, taking a look at your roster a little bit, and where are one of the areas that you think you've improved the most from last season?
Well, you know, depth. Depth was an issue. We had so many injuries last year on the offense and defensive side of the ball. I could just remember the Grand Valley game specifically when we lost 6 players in that ball game alone, and 4 were for season-ended injuries. You know, so we felt like as a coaching staff, we need to improve our roster with depth. We've got a lot of returning starters, you know, on the ball club, but at the same time, I think our players even know this. They've had a great season of strength and conditioning. They've gotten a lot bigger, a lot stronger. And that's significant, you know, to us. But our young men also know that we need depth. They know that injuries occur. It's part of the game. But, you know, who wants to lose based on the fact that, you know, you don't have talent? You know, so we've increased our talent on the team. Our veterans have gotten stronger, and then we've continued to bring in bigger and stronger players as well.
You know, Brian, for you, you had 5 interceptions last year, 5 of the 6 team interceptions. You had a great game at Northwood where you're the Defensive Player of the Week in the GLIAC with 3 interceptions, which set a school record in that contest. When you look to this year, as a secondary in particular, what areas have you really grown at the most?
Maturity. Maturity definitely is a big key in the DB room. One mistake from a touchdown in the DB room, so a lot of maturity done gained over the summer, a lot of accountability, a lot of people stepping up. Got to be leaders around because we are an important group. We are an important group. So just a lot of maturity, people knowing they got to step up, next man up, because we had a lot of injuries last year in the DB specifically room. Next man up.
With injuries, though, is also guys getting a chance to play. How important is it to have those guys step in as backups and get a lot of playing time, and how does that help for this year?
It's really important. It's all about repetition. You get the repetition that you need and the vibe of a game. It'll take you a long way. You want to go in each game with at least 2 or 3 deep. So those players that did play last year really got a lot of experience, so they'll be ready in case in the need if they aren't in a position to play, in a position to start.
You know, for you personally, what did you learn about playing GLIAC football as opposed to playing NAIA football the year before?
It's a difference. It's a difference, yeah. I just know that every game that we just got to come focused. You just got to come laser focused in the GLIAC. Maybe in the NAIA, here and there, you can get away with one or two technique misses, but in the GLIAC, you got to come laser focused every game.
Thanks, guys, for joining me. Once again, this is Ryan Thompson with Sparky McEwen and Brian Williams. Come out to any games at home this year. Home opener will be September the 8th against Wisconsin Oshkosh.